Hello, and welcome back to our Cultivating Courage series. And today we are actually going to be talking about two opportunities that if you are a team leader, people leader, have a team at your organization, are working towards building a team, or just want more professional development in the way of cultivating courage, this is for you. Welcome back. For those who are new to me, my name is Jaleesa Dallas, and I help individuals and organizations cultivate courage. Essentially, that's helping them break barriers to their success, bolster their belief for greater confidence, and build courageous behaviors to optimize their life, ultimately creating belonging internally and externally in community. For those who have been here for a while, thank you. I'm so glad that you are back, and we are going to be having more of a teaching conversation just about some of the new things or more refreshed and revised things that we have going on with Go Brave. And so with that, I would love for you to go ahead and comment, subscribe, and share this with someone you know. I would truly appreciate it, especially those who may be your colleagues or folks that you work with in corporate who may be interested in navigating this new terrain of uncertainty with everything going on, yet with courage. I believe that courageous leadership is what we need to lean into, and there is a clarion call, a megaphone call for those types of leaders. And like I said, I have two opportunities for you all to be able to bolster that space in your life. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I want to share with you is something that I like to call courageous connections. And it is twofold, with an additional opportunity for you to learn more about it in the near future. But just to explain what that is, Courageous Connections is a two-day certification program for which you can receive a mental health first aid certification, as well as a certification of completion and a digital badge for what is called Exploring Human Connection. For those who are unfamiliar with mental health first aid and to get a thorough understanding of what it is, I don't have time to explain all the details here, but you're going to want to go to www.mentalhealthfirstaid.org to get more details. But essentially, it is a training program that was initially established in Australia in the early 2000s, and it was something to help individuals identify the signs and symptoms of a mental health challenge, to get folks who might be having a challenge support that they need in order to navigate that journey. Now, this certification is not saying that you can diagnose or that you can provide advice, but it's essentially to support the person that is undergoing a mental health challenge with strategies, with support, and with resources to help them to navigate that journey. And so that's one part of Courageous Connections, because in this space and place that we're in the world, our mental health and our mental well-being is so important, because it, one, helps us to navigate our life with more clarity, with more understanding, and with more peace. And sometimes, well, rather a lot of times, when it's disrupted or some things are going on in our lives that are challenging, it's difficult to make decisions when our mental well-being is at stake. And so this is a certification, again, that will help individuals who want to be more informed about the signs and symptoms of a mental health challenge, but also those who want to be a resource to others. And so that's the first day of this Courageous Connection certification. And day two is what's called Exploring Human Connection. Essentially, we're going to talk about or start with humanity, because I believe what we forget to do as human beings is that we forget to think about how we perceive ourselves and perceives others, and how we do community together. The second thing is to assess our privilege, our power, and our position. And then the third aspect of this training is to look at our belonging, or rather engage in belonging, creating a culture where belonging is at the center of what we're looking to accomplish when we're working with other people, when we're connecting with others, and when we're seeking to collaborate to essentially create a better world. And so that is a 3-part series of a 1-day program where at the end of it, you'll get a certificate of completion as well as a digital badge to pretty much indicate that you've gone through this professional training process in order to acquire the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding on how to develop and or explore that human connection in your workplaces, in your community, to help yourself and others to be a part of a greater whole, and essentially to go brave in your communities. So that is one opportunity that we have available at Go Brave. The second opportunity is called Cultivating Courage. That is values-driven leadership in uncertain times. As I mentioned before, we are in a world that has a lot going on. Not that it didn't have a lot going on before the new presidency, but even more so now. There's a lot of things shifting and changing that are really out of our control. And so what can we do to bring us back to the reality of control that we do have, while at the same time making moves, developing strategies and systems in order to change some of the things that are currently being disrupted? And that requires for us to cultivate courage, to be authentic, to be aware of what's going on around us, and then again identify our internal locus of control and all the things that are internal and how that affects the whole. And so with that, it's looking at our journey of soul work. Now, you've heard me, if you've been around for a while, talking about soul work. That's looking at the things that we need to confront, the barriers that are in our way, and looking at support systems to help us to navigate that journey of disruption, and looking at those strategies that we will develop to help us to continue to move forward as we grow as individuals and leaders of ourselves. Then we look at the systems that are internal and how to restructure them and help us to really lean into our purpose and really lean into the gifts that we have. Furthermore, something that is sustainable, looking at our mindset and looking at how do we sustain the growth that we made once we have disrupted those areas in our lives that keep us from moving forward and being successful. And then the last thing, when it comes to embracing that soul work journey, one of the steps in what it means to cultivate courage is to live by a standard that's going to help us to build routines and habits and pretty much in and of itself create behavioral change for us to be successful, whether it is our business, our workplace, and our communities. Second to that is developing emotional intelligence. Now, emotional intelligence has been talked a lot about, but sometimes we don't know how to enhance it, how to develop it, and how to strengthen our emotional intelligence. And really, that's essentially understanding our capacity for self-awareness, for self-management, understanding our motivation, empathy, and social management, and then just how to do life in community with other people and how to communicate well and understand our position when it comes to conflict. And so that is a second piece of the whole cultivating courage. And then the last piece is being bold in how we live, love, and lead. And so there are multiple layers to that last piece, but if we are living, meaning we are being self-aware, or being elastic, or have a level of elasticity and resilience in our living, then that shifts into our ability to love, to build relationship, and to build connection. And thus, we're able to lead a whole lot better, where we are the example and that we help to shift the environments in which we're in just by way of us leading well and leading with purpose. And so those are the two programs that I'm hoping that will help us to shift our perspective as to living in uncertain times, as to how to maneuver in the new way of managing and understanding and being more equipped in our responsibilities and in our roles, whether that's in corporate America and the nonprofit world or in your business. And so with that, I would love to connect with you further to explore this conversation. And in the near future, I'm going to host a workshop, a free workshop, for those who are interested in understanding or wanting to know more about what it means to be a courageous leader. And I'll just give you a little snapshot of that. But a courageous leader is someone that has a growth mindset, They are wanting, willing to learn, and then sometimes unlearn. They want to see, or they lean into progression and not perfection. They are receptive to feedback, as well as being very strategic in the plans that they are implementing. And so that's just one aspect, one of several aspects of what it means to be a courageous leader. That's one of the characteristics of, again, what it means to be a courageous leader. So stay tuned for that. And for those who want to connect with me regarding the other two opportunities, you can email me at info@gobraveLLC.com, or you can connect with me via the varying social platforms that I'm on, LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram, and you can DM me for more information, and I would love to get on a call with you to talk to you more about how we can bring this opportunity to your organization and or your community. And please do like, comment, subscribe, and share this with someone you know. I would truly appreciate it. And until next time, let your soul work be your best work to a better you. Have a great one.